Welcome to GOS Media. I'm Amber Renee. Today's Grain of Sugar is part 4 of a 4-part series structured around the PEMS model of well-being. PEMS is an acronym for physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. PEMS represent the 4 core areas of a person's being. If our PEMS are in balance, we are better equipped to navigate the ups and downs of life. Out of balance, life struggles are more difficult. Each of GOS episodes on PEMS provides simple ABCs or action items to help you begin the journey of balancing your PEMS. Of course, our action items are not a treasure map to a fully balanced life. They are more of a baseline to help point the needle of your compass in the right direction for launching out. Today's part 4 provides ABC insight into our spiritual well being. Ready? Let's begin. A is for awareness. The foundational condition for provoking spiritual consideration is becoming aware that there is more to existence than the physical plane. That is, the here and now. There is no doubt most high schools, colleges, and universities promote an evolutionary explanation for creation and our existence. The evolutionary assertion has been around since 1859, when Darwin published his book Origin of Species. Yet, no matter how much atheists and scholars promote evolutionary theories, humans remain a spiritual lot. There comes a point in every person's life that we become aware of a spiritual dimension and we ask the question, is there more to existence than this present life? More often than not, the questioning of more tends to coalesce around the 4 basic questions. Who am I? Where did I come from? What is my purpose? What happens when I die? Once a person begins to ask ultimate questions, they likewise become aware of 4 ethereal realities that need reconciling, and those are evil, justice, forgiveness, and love. There are 2 types of evil in the world: man made, such as abuse and murder, and natural, such as earthquakes and tornadoes. When we see evil around us, we cringe at its destructive nature, leaving us with a felt disjuncture with society and our role within it. This uneasy, sometimes queasy sense of disconnect is a result of our desire to see justice for the victims of evil. Once justice has been administered, whatever that justice be, our inner person begins to wrestle with the issue of forgiveness. There's a reason society asserts that to fully heal, the victim will need to extend forgiveness towards the perpetrator. The reason most folks make such assertion is we have all committed an infraction whereby we desire forgiveness ourselves. On the other hand, the reason forgiveness can be difficult to extend is the awareness that within the context of forgiveness is an element of affection or love. The love associated with forgiveness is not necessarily a deep and abiding affection that we have with family and friends, yet there is indeed a form of nuanced love present. B is for benevolence. Once a person is apprehended by the spiritual realities of our existence, they realize that our greatest purpose and calling is to help those around us and leave the world a better place than we found it. When we think of the social safety net, commonly called social services, we often think about government programs such as food stamps, rent subsidy, or Medicare and Medicaid. Truth is, however, the vast providers of homeless shelters, food pantries, utility assistance, and clothing outlets are funded and operated by religious organizations. In fact, it's not uncommon to find a special love fund within most local congregations to help congregates, and very often the public at large. We find in the Bible the words, "Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth that will eventually be stolen, deteriorate, lost, and most definitely left behind for others." It goes on to say there is no greater gift than to lay down our life for others. Not many of us will have an opportunity to jump on a hand grenade to save our buddies, or give up a kidney to save another person. How then do you and I lay down our lives for others? We do this by giving ourselves in our day to day existence, spending time with folks who need a shoulder to cry on, sharing resources with those who are in need, teaching, sharing, and most importantly, demonstrating that servitude is far greater than ruling over others. Our C word for today is conviction. Somebody once said, people will not die for their beliefs, but they will certainly be martyred for their convictions. A conviction is not something you think or know or really believe. A conviction is a piece of you. Living with it is non negotiable. In fact, some say you don't have a conviction has you. There are those who believe that evidence of a spiritual conviction has everything to do with our feelings. Those who believe this are hoping that chill bumps or funny feeling in their stomach will confirm and validate their conviction. Problem is, when emotionalism is the foundation for our spiritual belief, we will always chase the next spiritual high and thus unable or perhaps unwilling to form a genuine spiritual conviction. Granted, a spiritual conviction may provoke peace or happiness, but those are a byproduct of using our mind to establish our conviction. Developing a conviction is sort of like a sponge slowly absorbing water. First, we get a gnawing inclination about a spiritual matter. After conducting a cursory review of the matter, we begin to think such and such. Having our interest and curiosity piqued, we dive deeper into our exploration of the matter and we begin to believe such and such. From here, we engage with proponents and opponents who challenge our understanding, causing us to know such and such. As we grow in knowledge and understanding, spending time in contemplation and applying the matter to our day to day, we come to know that we know the validity and veracity of the matter, resulting in genuine conviction. From then on, such and such is no longer just a consideration, it's a non negotiable, one that we are willing to lay down our life. A person only truly lives when they have become aware that there is a spiritual dimension to our existence. Spiritual awareness brings purpose and meaning, but only if we begin giving of ourselves to better humankind, the animal kingdom, and the physical world in which we abide. It is the conviction of our spiritual matters that provokes curiosity in others and that launches them into their own spiritual considerations. But alas, though we humans are a spiritual lot, modern culture has found ways to anesthetize our seeking of spiritual matters. This they do by overstimulation of our senses, excess consumptionism, and sexual aggrandizement. We are constantly bombarded with the crafted lie that we are entitled to happiness, and that is part and parcel with society's overindulgence. Sure, satiation of our physical needs and temporarily excessive wants might provide some form of happiness, but it will never bring us true joy. Happiness is contingent on external stuff. Joy is an internal state of being. That is why it's called a happy meal and not a joy meal. Our grain of sugar sums it up like this: society's addiction to carnal pleasures is definitive proof of its non spiritual citizenry. Looking to break free from a bunch of carnal pleasures, creature comforts that thwart our spiritual growth? Reach out and the colony will gather around and help you navigate the clutter. As usual, on behalf of GOS Media, thanks for stopping by. If you enjoyed our videos, then please like, subscribe, and share with others. If you want to support our work, then become a colony member by joining us on Patreon or snatch up some merch from our website. Links are pinned below. Once again, thanks for tuning in to Grains of Sugar. I've been your host, Amber Renee.